You're listening to the Annuity Agents Podcast with Anthony Owen. Anthony is the co-founder of a $20 million per year annuity agency, president of Annuity Agents Alliance and Annuity Innovation Systems, co-founder of Safe Money Radio Marketing, and monthly contributor to Think Advisor. Each week, Anthony and his partners at Annuity Agents Alliance update you on the annuity business with marketing, sales tools, sales process, and case design strategies. Before we get started, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss information that will help you build your annuity business.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Annuity Agents Podcast. Today we have a special guest, and we can't wait to introduce him. While you're joining us here, if you'd like to hit the like button or ring the bell or do any of those things that the location you're watching this or listening to this ask you to do, that'd be great. We'd be honored to have you follow us. And also, if you would like notes, be able to see any notes. We don't have much notes today, but if you'd like to be able to download those, you can download them off of annuityagentsalliance.com. Look for a link at the bottom of this podcast. It'll show you where to go for that. Start off with Richard. Richard, welcome to the podcast for the first time. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks, Anthony.
Okay. So Richard is one of our vice presidents, and so we're happy to have him join us today. Richard, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about this announcement we just made for our 2023 Top Producer Experience?
Yeah, super excited about this trip to the Greenbrier up in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. I personally am really excited about this because I've actually never been there to the state. And so I'm super excited to go to the area. This resort has been completely renovated, I think back in 2017. Just a ton of activities are available there. You can see the qualifications here to the right, the Champions Club level, only $3 million in FIA premium or $150 in Target Life, or a combination of the two. And that qualification goes all the way through the end of this year, 2022, qualifying to go on the trip in the summer of 2023, I believe, is when we're going to go on that. And of course, you've got the President's Club and Chairman's Club as well. One thing I can say about our organization, we love to celebrate your accomplishments in achieving the goals. So would love for you to join us on that trip. Yeah.
And so they had a flood. I think it was back in 2018 or something like that. They had a big flood and it went through the entire town of Greenbrier. And so they renovated the entire hotel. This is a super historic location. Just about every president, I believe, has been there. It's going to be classy, which is not always our style, but we'll be classy for this one.
Sometimes we have to show both sides.
Yeah, might have to wear whites and drink mint juleps and stuff like that. But so we're looking forward to this. It's going to be a great trip. And we're also looking forward to talking to our guest today, Tim Wood. And Richard works directly with Tim Wood. He's one of our radio hosts. So Richard, why don't you do the introductions, and then Tim, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, super honored to have Tim join us today. One of my favorite agents that I have the pleasure of working with out in Johnson City, Tennessee. Man, I don't know if I can do a proper introduction for a man with such integrity, great character, loves his family, and truly approaches this business with a servant's heart, and just is in this business for all the right reasons. Without further ado, Tim, thanks so much for joining us today. Man, I want to just jump right in. I know that we've talked about this a little bit in preparing for you being on the podcast. If you don't mind, just, introduce, yourself and let us know kind of your background and what brought you to the business.
Sure. Thanks, Richard. And thanks, Anthony, for having me on. Appreciate it. Basically, my background is I'm from Florida. Never really cared for the state, wanted to get out, had a chance in '07 to move my family up to the mountains of Tennessee. And that's where we are, about 1,700 feet up in the mountains, right outside the Smoky Mountain National Park in Northeast Tennessee. Love it up here, it's beautiful. Been in the radio business for years. Started, my first real job was at Walt Disney World as an audio engineer, was an audio tech. Got bored with that basically, got what they call topped out, couldn't make any more money. Wound up getting into radio in the late 90s and did that pretty much all the way through, actually until last year. There was a few years that actually I stopped that and owned my own web design company, but I've been in radio pretty much this whole time. What really got me to want to get into this business, and I'll give you the very short version, my father worked for a very large company. I'm not going to say who it is because he's always asked me not to, but 90% of y'all right now listening or watching this have their products in your pantry right now. He worked for this company and was a manager for the whole state of Florida. Well, their retirement plan was basically they gave my dad stock in the company. That was the retirement plan. And he got a lot. I mean, we're talking well into the six figures, and got, went into retirement, had that plan, was going to basically, because it was hoping to keep growing because it had been growing. Within 4 years of his retirement, he had lost over 75% of what he had in that stock in 4 years. This was between '02 and '06 when that crash happened. Everyone remembers that crash.
So he still kept it in his company stock.
Yeah, Anthony, because you think, well, it's always done well. It has these little blips and it goes down and you're like, oh, it's going to come back. And then it keeps going down more. And you're like, well, I don't want to sustain all these losses. So let's hope it comes back. And he literally did that for 4 years, had a bunch of conversations with me. And I kept saying, man, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, as soon as you sell it, it's going to come back. And now you've lost all this money between where it was. And, so we kept going back and forth. And it finally got to the point where his 6 figures of retirement was down to 5 figures.
Gosh.
And he finally said, you know what? I mean, I don't think this company's going anywhere, but my God, look at the hundreds of thousands that I've lost, and wound up selling. And then of course, about 3 or 4 months later, guess what that stock did? Right back up. Yeah. So that started me, and that was 20 years ago. But that started me to thinking, this isn't right. Someone shouldn't work their entire, decades for this company, sometimes 60, 70, 80 hours a week, because he'd travel all over the state. I mean, there was weeks I wouldn't see him. Amass all this wealth for retirement, and then it'd be gone in 4 months. So that, plus working in radio, I was already working with a lot of, I guess you'd say, higher income type people, business owners, those kind of people, artists. And just after, sitting and talking with them and whatever, I found that most of them didn't have anyone that they really could trust, that really knew what the heck they were talking about, to help them transition from the acquisition phase to the distribution phase of retirement. And that's really what got me really involved in this business, and made me really want to get into it to help all of these people. I mean, am I getting a lot of good financial benefits myself? Sure, it's great. I mean, it's fantastic. But really, if you go into it just wanting to help people, if I help enough people, I'm going to be just fine. That's the way I look at this business.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, because I mean, gosh, how many times have we heard that story, Richard? I mean, so many of our partners have a personal story that motivated them to help people. I think that's what makes this business great, and the people we work with is it's not about something external, it's about something internal. I think that makes it genuine.
Yeah, Tim and I talk about this quite a bit. It just helps you to show up different when you talk to that prospect for the first time, someone you don't know at all. There's an immediate connection because of that passion and energy that comes from Tim's story with his dad. And I know, Tim, you're going to be sharing that in your new book that's due to come out this spring, which is awesome. And it's been on your radio show before as well. Hate that happened to your dad, but man, it's awesome that it's fueled your fire to try and ensure that doesn't happen to others out there.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And to go back to your point real quick, yeah, it's totally different I mean, when I would meet with a potential client or a current client with radio, I mean, yeah, it was great. And I appreciated working with them. And yeah, we're working on your advertising, but it's just different when you sit down with a little 78-year-old woman that's widowed and has $200,000 to her name for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a different feel and a different level of responsibility. It's, you know, you've really got to be the right person to do this business. But if you are, I mean, it's fantastic.
Of course. And
Yeah.
Tim, I'm curious, you know, in talking about your journey to this business, what kind of drew you to a partnership or, you know, with us? And if you don't mind talking a little bit about what your journey looked like before you found us.
My journey probably looked a lot like a lot of people that are on this podcast, in that I think you and I discussed this. I think y'all are my 5th FMO, I think.
Wow.
I could be wrong there. It could actually be more, but there's 4 others that I can distinctly remember.
PTSD, you try and forget some of them.
Dude, you have no idea. I could tell you stories. It's ridiculous. And, you know, all these other FMOs, I mean, when they're trying to bring you on, they make it sound fantastic. That, you know, I mean, they'll send you gifts. It's crazy what they'll do to try to get you on. And they'll say, you know, we're going to put you to the top of the list and you're going to get this and that. And then you get in there and it is not what it was cracked up to be. I mean, the training could be awful or non-existent altogether. And not necessarily even industry training. I'm talking about products specific training, help putting together illustrations, just basic things that you rely on an FMO for. I'm not even talking about, you know, like the producer experiences we were just talking about, or any of that extra stuff. That's just gravy. And honestly, the way that I found you guys first was through your affiliation with annuity.com. I'm not sure, but somehow I went on annuity.com because I knew I wanted to do annuities. And somehow from there, I wound up on the AAA website and then put my information in. And then that somehow got to Richard. And then that started our conversation. And that was last fall, I believe.
Yeah. Were you doing any annuities before you came to us?
I was, but not anywhere close to the amount that I'm doing now. I mean, it's night and day. I had a pretty good understanding of how they worked when I came in, but Richard really was able to work with me a lot on specifics. And what's so great about working with Richard or any of your other guys, I mean, I know this is how you do it yourself too, Anthony, is, you know, I'm able to come to them and say, okay, I've got this client, here's their age, here's their entire situation, here's everything about them, and here's what they're wanting to accomplish. And they can help me because Richard and all of your other guys, and you know all of these products. I don't know all of them inside and out. Boy, I know Richard does. And Anthony, I'm sure you do. And I'm sure everybody else does. I can just come and say, I've got someone that's 73 years old, wants this, 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 this. And Richard will instantly say, oh, well, it needs to be this product, or it needs to be this product. Or, you know, it's just great to have someone that knows and that really is going to do what they say they're going to do. That to me is the bottom line, honestly, guys, is all the other FMOs made it sound fantastic. Grass is always greener. I came here thinking, yeah, okay, whatever. Well, the last one I was at was awful. So, you know, hopefully we'll at least be that good. And these guys have gone above and beyond. Richard is fantastic. I would recommend anybody that is listening to this, if you want to work with someone that will have your best interest at heart and basically just tell you straight up what needs to be pitched, what makes the most sense, what's going to be best for the client. See, that's why Richard and I work so well together. We are 100% all the time, every time, what's best for the client. My commission is secondary. I want to do what's best for the client, and that's what Richard wants to do, and that's what these guys do. And that's one of the big differences. I'm not going to name any names, but y'all know there are FMOs out there that all they want you to do is pitch what's going to make you and them for their override the most money.
Sure.
It is what it is. That's not how these guys work. They're going to, you know, I may very well be doing one later today that's going to make me a very small amount. But it's fine. That's what's good for the client. That's what's going to work. Fantastic. And we're good with that. So that's really, and working with Richard personally has been fantastic. I really could not recommend him enough. Not only is he someone that I would trust with my family, I consider him a personal friend, and I hope that friendship lasts for a long time.
That's awesome. We hope it does too. And,
Yeah.
what attracts you to us is kind of what attracts us to you. I mean, I think it's really about being genuine. Unfortunately, in this industry, a lot has become very corporate, and you hire guys to support agents, and they're really about the rah rah rah, and here's this product, and it's the greatest thing ever, and it's not purpose of money based. And it's important for us as I'll just call us leaders in this industry, because we're helping you with the client, and we're kind of at the top of the hierarchy for that process. It's important for us to know what that story is, that if you're in this business because you saw something happen to your father, then we need to work with your clients with that respect, because otherwise there's a disconnect, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if we're just pitching product to you and you're going like, what are you guys doing? I'm helping this lady because of what happened to my father.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, that's so important. And I think for the you that are listening out there, this is a sales tip actually. You need to know your story. You need to know why you're in this business.
Yeah.
And that why's got to be more important than yourself or your pocketbook, or you shouldn't be in this business, to be honest with you.
Nope.
Um,
Stories sell. I mean, that's what sells everything. You don't just sit there and quote stuff. People can read the illustration. You need to tell them stories. You need to get them involved in the story, and that's what's going to get them emotionally connected.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, tell us about, so you kind of addressed this, but, tell us a little bit about, I know you're on the radio with us, and we've been supporting you that. You've already told us how Richard is intersecting your life. Try and get a little more granular on how this relationship has changed your business. What has changed since you started working with us, as far as marketing and sales process and case design, which is what we say our core value propositions are.
Okay. Well, I'll try to remember everything. It's so much that Richard and I have done over the last year and a few months. It's crazy. I already had a podcast and was already on the radio before I met these guys. But it's just on those things, it has changed because Anthony's got the Safe Money radio program that I'm now on. And it has saved me so much time, because before, once again, because I was an audio tech and in radio, know how to do this, got really good facility. I was writing my own stuff. I was recording it. I was producing it. I was editing it. I was doing everything. And you can imagine that's sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours a week per show. And with what they've got, this program with Safe Money Radio, it's brilliant. Whoever came up with it, if it was you, Anthony, it's brilliant the way that it's set up. Basically, yeah, you've got some recording to do up front, but then you're done. I mean, there may be some updates here and there, but you're not having to record this thing every single week. So it saved me a lot of time there. Also, I have become, and I think another really good thing, once again, to go back to the annuity.com thing, the relationship you guys have with annuity.com, and basically how that works together, and then getting leads from annuity.com, that's something that actually I've turned on since I've been with you guys. There's other internet lead sources I use as well. Some of those were there before and some have been turned on after. I've got a brand new, the website that I've got, I don't know if you remember, I said one of my past lives, I owned a web design company for a few years. So the website I've got now, I did, but you can imagine that was dozens, if not, I might be able to say 100 or more hours putting that whole thing together. Well, with your partnership with Aegis Financial, they're actually in the middle right now of creating me a new website, and it's going to be amazing. I saw a rough draft of it yesterday. We're tweaking some things. It's going to be amazing, and that's included at absolutely no charge, just for working with you guys. Yeah. And you guys have people that do the follow-up. My God, I used to spend, Richard and I have talked about this, and Anthony, man, I mean, there's days I spent 4 hours trying to get certain companies that we won't name the names, but we know who they are,
Yeah.
would sit on hold for an hour or two. And then sometimes the thing would just disconnect. You want to talk about getting mad. But Aegis has someone that does the follow-up for you. I mean, there's so many different things. So between the radio, the internet things I have coming in, with annuity.com, and the invited author thing with annuity.com is great because that helps with your internet credentials. That tied into your website. And Retire Village, that's another benefit that you get coming on with AAA, is they've got this website that basically is also a drip email system. And that's another thing. I mean, I've gotten business off of that someone I may have I've talked to or have been in one of my webinars months or years ago has been on my drip ever since. And, they contact me and say, hey man, I've been, getting these emails from you twice a month for the last year and a half. I'm ready. So I think it's a mixture of all those things. But I mean, a lot of that, I had some of it in place before, but more so just fine tuning and really figuring out, okay, here's my marketing budget, what's going to be the best use of it, and kind of, taking a direction and then making the leap.
Yeah, Tim, just to kind of, I guess, piggyback off you here, Anthony says this a lot, we can't steer a parked car. I think you're a great example of that. You have salesmanship, were already, have ran successful businesses and were successful in radio. And not that that's a requirement to do our radio program. You're absolutely right. Anthony has done a great job of creating the compelling content that makes our Safe Money radio program what it is. One of the things, if you don't mind kind of sharing a little bit about, because I remember you and I started our relationship or our partnership, is your former organization, kind of, maybe said, hey, show this product to your clients. And you came from the, med sup space. You were successful there selling. But one of the things I remember you and I working quite a bit on was our 5-step sales process. And maybe, share with our listeners how that impacted, your first significant sale with us.
Yeah, you're right. I did come from the Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage space, and that's a great business to be in. And I've still got a lot of clients and I still get monthly checks. They're fantastic. But like you and I discussed, and I'll get back to your question about the 5-step thing in a second, but like you and I have discussed before, it's great when you're going to get, and I'm just pulling this number out of where, $25 a month for this person for as long as they live or as long as they stay on that plan. That's fantastic. But how many of them do you have to make a decent living where you can help someone secure their retirement? And in one person, one deal, you've made, potentially what you would need hundreds of Medicare clients to do. So that being said, but the 5-step sales process, yeah, you're right. I've had a lot of sales training. I've been to a ton of sales seminars. I've been sales manager. I've done all that stuff. So yeah, the sales, it wasn't the issue. It's more so the operational stuff. And that's what you guys helped with, was the real operational 5-step. Okay, you know how to sell, you know how to talk to people. That's great. Here's how you do this business. Step 1, you do a fact finder appointment. Here's how it works. Here's the form. Here's how you fill it out. Let's go through it. Let's all that. Step 2, step 3, you literally have the 5 steps. And I know, Richard, that and I'm sure it's not just me. There was some pushback at the beginning because I'm like, come on, man, we don't need to. This is ridiculous. I already know what the guy wants. Let's just do it. And And now with all this compliance stuff coming down the pipe, man, I'm glad we did that, because now if anyone ever goes back, I've got a full suitability review on every single person that I've done with AAA.
Absolutely.
I'm covered.
Yeah.
So that 5-step process really helps, because, and it's funny, when I became a certified financial fiduciary, which that's another thing that's happened since I was with you guys, they've got a process that they call the fiduciary process. And guess what? It looks exactly like. It's literally, it's almost exact. I'm not sure it's not. But yeah, so it's what I was already doing. So yeah, it's really good, but it's not how to sell. It's not really how to talk to people. They might be able to help you with that if you need that, but it's more so realistically. Now we all know how to do it, but there's a smart way to do this, and it's going to turn into, I've got clients. Yeah, it's going to turn into a lot of repeat business, because they're going to trust you, because you've gone through this whole process and you've done the same thing with everybody every single time. And it just makes it really easy. And it really breaks down their walls because you've seen everything and you're having a discussion that's 180 degrees from everybody else, right? Everyone else is coming at them saying, you need to invest in this, you need to buy this, you need to do this. I'm coming at them saying, let's see what you got and let's figure out what you want to do with what you got. Then we'll talk about what product might work. It might not even be my product. I might need to refer you to someone that does variable products because I don't. I only do fixed. But let's figure out what that product is. And then if I can do it, great. If not, I'll refer you to someone. That's
Sure.
it.
Yeah. I specifically remember early on you said, right, you gave me the pushback, but I remember one of your earlier clients saying, gosh, Tim, no one's asked us all these questions before. You're asking for a lot of information.
Yeah, I hear that from almost every single client, brother. Yeah, it's
Right.
because most everyone else is just going in there. And I mean, and really, if you start talking to someone and you get to the point where, I mean, as soon as you start talking, they know you're a financial guy. They're going to say, oh man, well, I got 187 in my 401k here. And, I got a pension coming, and they're just going to spit all this stuff out. Those of us that have done this for a while, I mean, you already know as soon as you hear, and then you kind of hear what they want, you know what they want. Oh, it's going to be this product. It's going to be the such and such 10, or we know what it's going to be. And that's what most people just do. Oh man, I got the product for you. And I mean, some even, we'll just do it right then and there. One call closed, bam, let's sign it up. Here, give me your account numbers and go. Yeah, I mean, I hear that from almost everyone. Why do you need all this information? Why am I having to give you all this? And I have to explain to them the process. And I explain it to them, not as the Annuity Agents Alliance process, even though that's all well and good. I explain it as the certified financial fiduciary process because that's what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more frustrating things about our business is, everybody wants the shortcut. And
Right.
and we're just, I mean, this is a daily thing for us. We talk about which partners we're working with just want to quote and which partners want to process. And man, if they just eat their vegetables, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to change your process or to even have a process when you don't have one.
Right.
But like I said at a conference recently, it just kind of came to my mind and came up with one of my Anthony-isms. Marketing is marketing without skill is false advertising. And if you don't have a skillful sales process that is purpose and money driven, then you're a false advertiser, because most of our advertising out there, at least the advertising we help you guys do, it's promising purpose of money planning. And so to just respond to that marketing with a product pitch is false advertising. So you're definitely seeing the benefit of eating your vegetables, and we're happy. We're happy that you're one of our disciples in that area. Do you have anything? So anybody, obviously, do you think someone would have to be doing radio to benefit working with us? And then also maybe you could just hit on, let's just give some sales process stuff. What are you doing in your business that someone else that's trying to carve their way in this business would want to hear that might be able to help them with clients?
Okay. No, you don't have to do radio. Radio takes a commitment, right? I mean, obviously anyone knows that if you're going to do a radio show, there's multiple expenses involved and it takes a commitment, and it's not going to show you. I mean, I've been in radio since the 90s. I mean, I've said this, I can't tell you thousands of times. Radio is not going to show you an instant return. Now, might you get lucky in the first time that your show airs, you might get a call, maybe even two. Sure, it could happen. Could it be 2 months later and then all of a sudden it starts? Yes, and that's what I saw. I mean, and here's a good, no, you don't have to do the radio, but here's what I'll say also. In the last week, these numbers aren't exact, but I've got somewhere around a total of 10 leads that have come in. 6 have been from internet sources, 4 have been from my radio show. Out of the 6 from the internet, I've gotten in touch with 1. And these are high dollar leads. These aren't the cheap discount leads. These are the high dollar leads. I've gotten in touch with 1. Out of my radio leads, I've gotten in touch with 4 out of 4. because they've contacted me from listening to me talk on the radio about what these products are. Now, could that flip-flop next week? Yes, it could, but I'm seeing that as a trend that you're getting in touch with, and as soon as you call, I mean, I call and say, hey, this is Tim from Safe Money Retirement Radio. Man, that response is so different from me calling and saying, hey, this is Tim from whatever the lead source is and whatever you're supposed to say with that lead source. It's totally different. Oh, thanks for calling me. I mean, the one yesterday said, oh, that's cool, you're actually calling me. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool and it really works, but it takes a commitment. Richard and I were talking about this yesterday, that, I mean, a lot of these things take, you just got to go, you got to jump, you got to have faith, you got to just do it. It works, but yeah, it's a lot. As far as the process goes, like as far as talking about the actual process, it's, once again, we do that fact finder appointment, basically, which is a suitability review. That's what it is. I'm going and getting all their suitability information, figuring out what we want to do. Then that's when I contact Richard. And basically I say, okay, I've got this couple, he's 72, she's 69. They're wanting to turn this 401k into a guaranteed lifetime income that's going to turn on in 3 years, whatever it is. And then Richard and I just have a conversation. Well, we could do this, or you know, you want, and we'll come up with all different ideas, and whatever the best ideas are, then Richard will send me the illustrations pretty much usually right away, but within 24 hours. So I've got them when I get back together with the client. And then when I get back together with the client, basically I say, okay, here's where you showed me you were. Here's what you said you wanted to do. I had a team that literally searched everything that's available in your entire state, came back, and here's the best 1, 2, 3 options, whatever it is, you know, situation's different. Here it is. And I go through the whole thing, show them the entire thing, show them anything they want to see about the company or the indexes or whatever it is. And, you know, then it's just, you know, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to leave your money at risk, or do you want to go ahead and get this money protected now so you don't have to worry about any market declines? And then, you know, then when they're ready, you help them. That's it. I mean, that's the whole process. Why it would help someone that's just getting into this business, I would say I had a really good general understanding of how fixed indexed annuities or all these type of products, even if you get into the index life products, I had a good general knowledge, and I had sold some. But Richard is so he's such a good teacher. I mean, he doesn't just say, okay, here's what you need to do. He explains who the company is if I haven't done with them before, helps me get signed up with them, shows me all the information about the company so I know who I'm talking about. When he sends the illustration, it's the illustration and the company brochure and their financials and information about the indexes. And literally the email that I get has got everything. So whether I'm doing a Zoom with someone in Maine, I just closed someone in Maine. I'm in Tennessee, just closed someone in Maine last week from a webinar.
Nice.
But once again, when I do the Zoom, everything's in my email. So all I got to do is click, 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 share my screen through Zoom. Bam, I'm just doing the presentation, and it's all in the email that Richard sent me. And then, you know, once you get done and you actually are signing them up, they'll help you figure out how to do all of the online applications if you don't know how to do that. And then after the sale, Aegis, who is a partner with Annuity Agents Alliance, has a follow-up person, and she is fantastic.
Yeah, she
and
is
very detail oriented. And she does all the follow-up, man. I mean, it's great. It really is. It saved me so hours, hours.
Yeah.
You know, Richard has sat on for hours for me. I know he has. We've discussed, you know, he's like, man, I was just on hold for an hour and a half with these guys on this client feed. So, you know, it's happened for all of us. So all of that put together, it just, especially if someone was new in this industry, man, I can't tell you a better place to go than here, because they're going to help you. They're going to get you set up with everything that you need. And they're going to push you. They're going to, you know, I mean, these radio things, getting the book, I mean, a bunch of different things. So a lot of this stuff costs, and you gotta have the faith to do it. But they'll help you get there.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You know, I feel like you know, we've always approached this, and you know, as far as the service you're getting from Richard, this is a very collaborative effort. You know, we're always learning from each other. We have a vault where we keep all our case design, and whenever we have good case design that results in a sale, we share that with each other. We have access to all the different illustrations we run and the income planner illustrations and everything. But when it comes to the 5-step sales process and all the things we do, we really feel like our job is to create some resistance, for an agent. It's not just trying to avoid the elephant in the room and give the agent what they want. It's really about helping our partner. I mean, if we're really gonna improve that partner's life, we're gonna try and improve their business. And so we've even had partners come to us that are doing well in annuities, but they just have no idea what their potential is. They're comfortable, they think they're in a good place, but then, boy, is it really hard to change someone's sales process when they think they're doing well. It really is. So yeah, sometimes the new agent is easier to work with. So we push up to the resistance line and then see how much pushback we get. And it can be like eating an elephant one bite at a time sort of thing. But I think one thing we could all use in this business is some humility and just realizing we don't know everything we need to know. And our partners teach us and we teach our partners. And if we can all just be humble and know that we have room to grow, then, the client benefits. And when the client benefits, then we all benefit too, right? Well, it's been great having you on, Tim. We have some other questions we could ask you here, but do you have anything you'd like to add as we wrap it up?
Not really. I think that's about everything. I mean, the only other thing I will say for anyone thinking about it, I'm not going to give numbers, but I set a pretty aggressive goal for myself for last year that was way over anything I'd ever done before, and I surpassed it by about 10%.
Nice.
I more than doubled the goal for this year. And now this could change, but most likely if my forecasts are right, by the end of first quarter, I'm already going to be halfway to that.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
So they will help you with that too. I mean, Richard has helped me with that. And okay, here's one other thing that I would say. Now I'm assuming he would do this with everybody, but a lot of us in this business, we're doing this on our own. It's you. That's it. You own the business, you do it. It's all you. And it's nice to have Richard there, and even Anthony. You and I've discussed things, as you know, when you've got a major business decision, when you're looking at, how does this ad look? How does this website look? How does this presentation look? How do any of that stuff? It's nice to have somebody in the business that that's been doing this forever, that you can bounce things off of. I had a different business name and changed it over to Safe Money Retirement because I thought that was a good fit. And that was something that, I asked Richard and we talked about. So, it for me, at least, it's more than just someone to give me illustrations. It's someone that I consider a business partner. And that's the way that when I position you guys, when I'm talking to clients, I say, that's my team, and my team is going to search your entire state and find what the best thing is. And then I'm going to work with them and make sure that it's the best thing. And then I'll be back to present it to you. You guys are my team. I mean, that's the way that I look at it, because, I can't afford to bring on 5 full-time people, but you guys are basically doing that for me in my business.
Yeah. The goal is to make everything easier. Well, Tim, thanks a lot for joining us. I'm going to move on. You can stay on here, but you might want to comment on this too, actually. So, we got this email from Doug, one of our radio host partners in Missouri. And it says, had a couple come into my office to discuss their investments. They came into my office 11 years ago. Just blows me away. We've been running this marketing system for 11 years. I mean, I don't know of any other marketing system that's alive in its same iteration as when it started. I mean, we made improvements, but yeah, it's been quite a haul. We're blessed to have been able to have that kind of sustainability. But he said that he had clients come into his office 11 years ago, and they just emailed me last week requesting an appointment. When they arrived, he stated how he was now ready to adjust his portfolio according to the accordingly and to protect it. And Doug says, the book I gave him in 2010. So we have this thing called the Safe Money book, and we always encourage our partners to write their own books. But we do have this thing called the Safe Money book that allows you to put your picture and your bio and your contact information on the book. And it says presented by, we don't want anybody representing themselves as book authors. We also have a program where you can customize your information on Tom Hagna's books, if you're part of this radio program, and be able to hand out his books. And then, of course, like Tim said, he's writing his own book, and we highly encourage that as well. But it just goes to show the power of handing someone a book. And then being on a marketing program that constantly drips on your clients. And we do that in several different ways. One, radio, people, whether they buy from you, don't buy from you, meet with you, don't meet with you, they don't stop listening to radio. So really the only thing stopping them from hearing you over and over again is you not quitting. That's pretty much it. Get on the radio and you stay on it. And Doug's a great example of that. He's been on the radio with us for over a decade, which once again is just crazy. But those clients have heard him over and over again. He handed them one of our books 11 years ago. And, I always say that production happens when opportunity and preparedness intersect. The opportunity is you handing them a book and being on the radio and them knowing that you're the person they need to call to for a situation. Preparedness is out of your control, right? I mean, it might be the market crashing, it might be life events, retirement, divorce, death, sickness, anything that would cause someone to have a life change. It might be that they're working still and 100% of their retirement's in a 401k, and they just need to turn 59 and a half to access it. So the question is, what are you going to be doing in your business to stay in front of these people? What have you done to have an impact on them? Handing out a book is considered so much more valuable than handing someone a business card or an email. One of our new partners yesterday, who just started with us, asked us if we could give him this book in a PDF form so he could use it. And we're like, nope, no, because PDF is useless. You're going to email that to that person and they're going to delete it. But a book actually stays on someone's coffee table, and they don't throw, people of the baby boomer generation do not throw books away. I mean, they'll take those books with them everywhere they move. So this is a great story. I don't know how much business he closed off of this, but we've heard other stories where this has resulted in good sales. So if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to contact us. Once again, annuityagentsalliance.com. And we will be joining you again in a couple of weeks. Tim, thanks once again. Richard, thank you for joining us today, and very appreciative of having your partnership, Tim. You're one of the good ones, and we're glad to have you.
I appreciate you guys too, more than you know.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Tim, for carving out time in your busy schedule. Thanks for all the valuable insights today. I think I'm gonna go back and listen to this and grab some notes, man.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to the Annuity Agents Podcast with Anthony Owen. For more information on how Annuity Agents Alliance will help you build your annuity business, go to annuityagentsalliance.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please do us a favor and don't forget to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of future podcasts. If listening on a podcast channel, please leave your rating and review if you like the show. The information and opinions expressed here by third parties or guests are believed to be reliable, but the information cannot be verified or guaranteed by Annuity Agents Alliance. The opinions of guests do not necessarily represent those of Annuity Agents Alliance or its partners. The prior information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice and is for licensed financial professional use only.